Welcome back, everyone. Great to be here with you. Love being able to share my Saturdays, at least Saturday mornings, if you're tuning in when the show goes live with you. Today's episode is 2395. So if you want to follow along with the questions that have been written in, head on over to stephencabral.com/podcasts, or more specifically, stephencabral.com/2395 for all of today's show notes and questions. All right, so if you're new to the show, on the weekends, I love being able to answer our community's questions. I answer 6 every Saturday and 6 every Sunday. We've been doing that now for almost 7 years. I think almost 7 years. This podcast started in 2016, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, 22, almost 7 years. So, you know, and honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. It really is. Because as many of you know, since year 2000 to 2019, right until basically 2020, I was full-time seeing at least 2,000 appointments a year in my own personal practice, and I was overseeing a team. So it was always like direct connection with every single person, you know, who had a wellness, weight loss, or anti-aging based issue. And it could be longevity, it could be, you know, weight gain, it could be competition, it could be anything. It was my job to help them with that de-stress protocol before I even know that I was going to be called the de-stress protocol: the diet, the exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplements, and a success mindset. So that's what I try to share with you in the weekend edition of the show. Basically, if you and I were to bump into each other, you ask me a question without any research, this is what you would get from my basically experience and practice. So that is that. I always have to share that anything I give is non-medical advice related. No medical treatment plans, no medical advice, no medical cures, no medical, what's the other thing? Diagnosis. All right. So that is that. And let's dive into the show. Let's see what questions came in today. Do remember, we're running about 12 weeks behind on questions, just because we have so many questions come in. It's about 12 weeks in the queue. So the first one's from Larissa. Larissa says, I've had a Morton's Neuroma in my foot for about 7 years. I tried alcohol injections, acupuncture, cryosurgery, all giving some relief, but ultimately the pain comes back. My podiatrist is now recommending decompress surgery, and I am skeptical that it will work. Can you address a more natural remedy that will get rid of it? I have tried all of the pads, spacers, shoes, etc. that attempt to alleviate it. I'm looking for it to be gone. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I've certainly worked with all sorts of foot-based issues, whether it be bone spurs or bunions, as they say, Morton's neuroma, which is a thickening of the connective tissue right around the nerves, I believe, in the feet. And there's, you know, quite a bit of innervation, obviously, of nerves in the feet. So, yeah, it sounds like you did a lot of the things that are recommended. Typically before surgery, because, right, surgery, you can actually remove that thickened tissue. But the problem is with surgery, sometimes scar tissue grows, right? So then you get thickened tissue anyway. So it's kind of challenging. You have to make sure you're working with the right podiatrist, surgeon, obviously a podiatrist that does surgery. Many do, of course. And before that, strengthening base exercises, make sure you improve the arches of your feet, wearing wider shoes so that your toes are not being compressed, that you're doing rolfing or real foot-based work so they can open up the connective tissue. A rolfer, which is a specific type of massage therapist, may be able to help with that. Barefoot-based training. And then I also, again, I recommend doing what things are causing inflammation in your body. So if you can, run the Big 5 labs. If you can't, run the starter kit for lab tests at stephencabral.com/labs. Of course, whenever I say stephencabral.com/labs, you can always run them with your local naturopathic doctor or integrative health practitioner level 2. That's totally fine. Whatever you feel is best for you, I'm good with, of course. And then I would work on whatever the ailment is. So like daily foundational protocol level 2 or level 3, and then adding in proteolytic enzymes first thing in the morning and before bed, or just in the morning, 2 to 4 capsules. The new proteolytic enzymes should be out by now at Equilife. You can find them at stephencabral.com/shop, and then just type in proteolytic, which is just PROTEOLYTIC inside the search box. All right. So hopefully that's going to help, all right, before you have to go to surgery. Emily's up next. Hello, thanks for all your work at helping people become a healthier self and healthier world. My daughter is about to turn 3. She's been having pellets or harder balls for bowel movements. She drinks plenty of water. I feed her as healthy as I can, fruits, veggies, no packaged things, and I even eliminated dairy. she talks about, or she takes a multivitamin D probiotic and fish oil every day. She wasn't a premature birth. She was a vaginal birth and was breastfed 15 months. She has a little belly, but I always thought it was her age. You know how it looks when the belly gets bloated. She doesn't complain of pain. She's a good eater. Do you think I should change something or do something differently? Thanks. I appreciate it. Emily and Hazel. All right. Happy to help Emily and your daughter Hazel. So what I recommend is this. It sounds like you're on it in terms of your fruits and veggies and your hydration. Great. So you've got your fiber, you've got your water. You want to make sure that she's getting enough food in general, right? That she's not, of course, she's not malnourished, but you know that she's getting enough total bulk food. She's getting enough calories, right? So typically for kids, we're recommending 3 main meals. And then for kids that are at a healthy weight and they're very active, mid-morning snack, mid-afternoon snack. Okay. So that's that with that. And then you're doing your supplements, which looks pretty good, right? You might want to just try a little bit of magnesium, like a little bit of the calming magnesium, maybe just a half a scoop. And you could do that before bed. It has a really nice strawberry flavor. My youngest daughter loves it. I use it with her whenever she's like, you know, amped and she needs to calm her body down. But you can also use it to get those bowels going as well. So that's that. But really, I think at this moment, you want to run the bacteria and the parasite and bacteria stool test. So that's going to tell you if the bacteria in her gut is off, and it's going to tell you if there's any parasites or yeast or anything like that. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do for my daughter, right? And that's what I have done for my daughter. So that is what I would do next. All right, thanks, Emily. Jennifer's up next. Thank you, Dr. Cabral, for all of your free education. My pleasure, Jennifer. Thank you. My husband and I recently stopped drinking coffee and any caffeine to prepare for your 7-day detox. My husband was drinking upwards around 8 to 12 cups of coffee every day. Now he's drinking none and feeling good despite being extremely tired. He has no energy by late afternoon and feels like sleeping at work after several hours. I'm wondering if his adrenal system needs some sort of supplement to aid in functionality. Thank you for your time. Great question. And yeah, I mean, going from 8 to 12 cups, think about it. Average cup of coffee, well, the average like 12-ounce cup of coffee is like 145 milligrams, right? Average Starbucks cup of coffee is 272 milligrams. So let's just say math here is 200. Your husband was taking in 1,600 to 2,000 milligrams of caffeine per day. Your safe intake is 200 to 300 milligrams typically. So this is a lot of caffeine. So yes, coming off all of that quickly can absolutely lead to fatigue, no doubt about it. But I'm glad that he's feeling better despite that because, of course, what's he doing? Well, improving his nervous system, healthy levels of inflammation, hormones, sleep, and so much more. So what do we do, though, just to make sure he has enough energy? Okay, so for one, we could do, and again, you don't need to go back to coffee. But you could do a half organic decaf, half regular after breakfast in the morning. Check out my shows on why to have it after breakfast, never before. And that may be enough. But here's what we want to do. Adrenal-wise, we want to use adrenal energy support. So don't use the coffee yet or the caffeine. Let's try for natural energy. Let's do the DNS smoothie in the morning. Let's do the daily fruit and vegetable blend upon waking with some water, maybe a little sea salt, maybe a little lime or lemon in there too if he wants. Really nice right there for a little natural Gatorade with electrolytes. And then let's do the adrenal energy support at breakfast with the smoothie. All right. And let's do 2 capsules at breakfast and let's do 2 capsules at lunch. Let's see how that goes. Okay. That has the licorice root in it, the rhodiola. Might get a lot of great benefit. I mean, many people do. And I don't see why your husband would be any different. All right. So let's do that and let us know how it goes. Okay. So again, you can find these at stephencabral.com/shop. Just type in adrenal energy support, not adrenal soothe, that calms stress, anxiety, etc. We want to go with what gives energy. Adrenal energy support will help with that. All right. Christina is up next. Hello, my son was born with Hypospadias and just had surgery to fix it. I'm trying to get pregnant and would like to avoid my next son with the same issue. Is there a specific vitamin I'm missing? Appreciate your time. All right. It's an interesting question. I have no experience with this, but I just know that it's an improper formation of the urethra. And what happens typically with boys when they go to urinate, well, the urine does not come out straight and it does not come out normally. So typically surgery is the only thing that's able to fix it. And he had surgery. Okay, so everything is fixed now. And it's a pretty straightforward surgery. So there should be obviously no long-term issues there. If he was given antibiotics, well, you might want to use something like the Clean Gut probiotic and just a half a capsule in the morning, half a capsule at night. If he's just a baby, then probably nothing's needed at all. I'm assuming that this was done pretty quickly at birth, so it might be good. You might just want to take the Clean Gut probiotic. So that's that. Okay, vitamin issues. Well, I can't say for specifically because I don't think that there's anything tied specifically to this. Sometimes there's, I don't know if accidents in nature is the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. And so what we want to look at is, are you doing everything that you could be doing? And so we want to look at that. So I would actually listen to my podcast called How to Have a Happy and Healthy Pregnancy. And if you don't know that podcast number, because I don't know it off the top of my head, you can ask it at cabralsupportgroup.com. Say like, hey, what's the podcast for How to Have a Happy and Healthy Pregnancy on the Cabral concept? And the amazing Michelle or Daniel will get you that information. But what I would do is certainly if you're able to run the big five, make sure there's no toxicities like heavy metals or yeast overgrowth, et cetera. And then you'll take care of those before pregnancy. And then while you're pregnant, you may want to use the daily nutritional support plus the methylfolate. And if you do that, you're getting all of your healthy B vitamins, your full multi in that, and you're getting your folate. And then you might want to take the daily omega-3 support. Again, I can't provide any medical recommendations, but might be a really good place to start. And yeah, that's that. So again, so what was my wife using during pregnancy? Daily foundational protocol, level 2, which is the daily fruit and vegetable blend, daily nutritional support. We also added the methylfolate, an extra 500 micrograms, and the daily omega-3 support. And so that's that. And then our last trimester, we used a natural iron supplement because most women, by the time they get to their last trimester, are anemic because of the larger amount of blood they are manufacturing. All right, Katie's up next. Katie says, hi, Dr. Wall. I currently have a goal to be able to complete a 5K, which for everybody else, that's 3.1 miles. I have a history of significant joint pain, especially when running. I'm hypermobile. I've significantly decreased my rain barrel thanks to the IHP level 1 knowledge, going into level 2 and healing, which has helped my joint pain. But I have had joint pain with running for many, many years now. Could this be related solely to my hypermobility? Currently, I do 10,000 steps and have completed some bodyweight exercises and lightweight, but have struggled with doing too much too fast and felt worse when I'm back to just walking exercise. I know healing is nonlinear, but by the time you read this message, I will have completed my heavy metal detox and will be completing my stress, mood, and metabolism testing after. What would you suggest for appropriately working toward my strength training and 5K goal, knowing I have struggled with hypermobility? Is there a best type of supplement for me as far as collagen? Have you and other clients successfully worked through joint pain and hypermobility, or are there reasons for this that I may not be aware of? I have completed multiple functional medicine detox, para support protocol, CBO, and I'm underway on the CBO finisher. Great work, by the way, Katie. Thank you so much, as always, for your knowledge and direction. All right, happy to help here. So we work with so many people with hypermobility, like so many people, whether it's diagnosed, genetic-based disorders, variations on the scale of hypermobility, you name it. Okay, so the big thing is this. What you always have to do is, if possible, you run your big five. You just want to say, hey, what's causing inflammation in your body? What's causing toxicity? What's causing gut issues? What's causing hormone imbalances? Like, you just need to know those things and you fix them, right? So there's that part to it. Then with the hypermobility, first, or now we're on to like second or third, but you want to be always cognizant. Hey, I'm a little bit more hypermobile. So what I want to make sure is that when I'm doing running, that I am not locking out my joints, right? Because when someone who's hypermobile locks out their joints, the knee doesn't lock out straight, it locks out bowed, right? Really important. When they lock out their elbow, I'm not hypermobile, but you would see a bow in the elbow, putting too much stress on the tendons and ligaments, never mind what's called the articular cartilage that's on the end of those bones, right? So you've got your, in your leg, you've got your tibia, fibula on the bottom, you've got your femur on the top, your humerus for your arm, your ulna radius below. And to make a long story short, you want to make sure that you have proper form when strength training and running. That's it. Like, that's what you can do. Now, the next part, get a good quality shoe that's going to provide you, like for you, I'd probably say, hey, let's get a little bit more support and a little bit more cushion. Everyday walking, you don't need that, but when you're racking up the miles, that's what I switch to. So I'm like really pretty minimalist when walking, like literally minimalist. But when I run, I switch from being minimalist to a little bit more now cushion and support, because for the longevity of my body, that's why I decided to do that. Now, other people might have different philosophies. That's okay. Like, they're both good philosophies. It's just, this is the philosophy I've adopted for now, and it's feeling better in my body. And the last part is with strength training, it all comes back to volume. So it's like, you're doing body weight now, you're doing good. So let's do almost the same exercise you're doing now, body weight, with just a little bit of weight. And then if you're already at 2 sets, well, let's not do more than 2 sets. And then you'll either add an extra exercise, or you'll go up in weight, or you'll add an extra set, but not all 3 of those, right? So that's, go back to my, go back in IHP, let's talk about the graduated exercise program, and hopefully you'll find some good recommendations in there. But I'm always happy to talk more about it, and I do on the Thursday shows a lot of the time, all right? So really good. And the collagen product I recommend, so for you, zinc, magnesium, vitamin C, right? Vitamin D, so basically the immunity protocol, plus the full spectrum magnesium if you want to, and the advanced collagen support would be really helpful. All right. All right. Richard's our last question of the day. Richard says, which NMN do you recommend and take? Great question. I'm going to find you a podcast on this that goes in depth. You may not want the in depth, but I always like to provide the education behind it. I just want people to know that there's always a method to the madness. And I always try to give recommendations based on Ayurveda and state-of-the-art science as well. You know what? Let's see if we can find this right now. Quick search, NMN, and here we go, 2300, all right? So Richard, just go to stephencabral.com/2300, and I give you the breakdown of nicotinamide mononucleotide versus nicotinamide riboside versus NAD. Okay. And hopefully it's an unbiased perspective that I give you on that, and why I use nicotinamide mononucleotide. I feel it's the most natural for the body. And in the long run, the most absorbable only because of the molecular structure and the body's poor ability right now, at least internally, ingestible-wise, to absorb NAD directly, even though it's going to eventually create that. Okay. And the product I use is called Cell Boost. So if you go to stephencabral.com/shop, I use Cell Boost every single day. It's an amazing product, helps with sulfur-based detoxification, helps with longevity. To me, it's the most complete product out there, because for the same price as NMN, you can actually get transresveratrol, quercetin. One of my favorites is astragalus. I talk about that like all the time. I think it's like one of the key mitochondrial products that people are missing out on. So that's all inside of Cell Boost. It's one of my favorite products, like ever favorite products. I love that product. I love Hispro, but I use Hispro because of my background with Th2 immune dominance and allergies and all that. So that's why I love that product. So, all right, great questions today. Of course, I expect nothing less from our community. I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing rest of the weekend.